up, everybody? I'm Sal Kwani. This is Reggie Steele. And welcome to Spitballin. Spitballin.
Welcome to Spitballin. Here's part 2 and the conclusion to our interview with Ayize. Please enjoy.
Exactly. All right, let's get back to self-publication now.
Oh man, I
want to know how you get this idea in your head for this story.
No.
And
no.
How's this start?
Okay.
Teach.
So I wrote this book. I wrote like 4 or 5 books before I even tried to get one published. Right.
Yeah, and you just start. Did you always feel like writing? You always enjoy writing?
Beginning. Yep. I was like,
see, that's what I want to, because I want to. Okay, so let's, before we get to this point, real quick, let's just go back. You grew up in Harlem, New York.
Yep.
Right, and you live in various parts of the world: Mexico, Morocco, and anywhere else. I don't know.
Now, when you're traveling, are you just with your mom, or are you with Tupac's dad too?
No, I didn't. Like I said, I didn't grow up with my dad.
He didn't grow up with his. That sound being funny.
Not your dad, Tupac's dad.
Tupac's dad.
So I actually cut out from home around 13. Like I was on the street for a year.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But growing up, like the safe place for me was the Museum of Natural History and the library. Right. So like whenever I was like, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do. Museum of Natural History, it was donation only to get in. And back then they meant it. And I was like, I ain't got nothing. I'd go in and I would spend hours in the Museum of Natural History just wandering.
Wow. In New York.
Yep.
Yeah, wow.
In the library, right? Like, the big library, Ghostbusters library, with the lions.
Yeah.
It was like, just picking up random books and reading and whatever. And I was like, my uncle is a professor at Brooklyn College, and he, in my mind, was the smartest man in the world. And he had his own library. And I was like, okay, that's my model. I'm like, I want to be like him. The only thing is I like comic books. So I want to write comic books. I'm also dyslexic, so I can't draw to save my freaking life. So I was like, okay, I can't draw comic books. I have to write comic books. Right. And so I was just writing stories because I didn't know the process on how to actually do it. So I was just, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then he says this, and she says this, and it was just like that format, but it just got me in the habit of sitting down and writing, right? And then I got a little typewriter, so always been writing, always been telling stories. Wrote like 3 or 4 novels before I even tried to send them out.
Now, let me ask you, when you say you wrote a novel, then you write it, you have the document, do you share it with people? Like, what do you do with that? You just have it?
I feel like every creative needs to have some like fodder, some like just excess material just sitting around, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't be precious about all of your material, because if you are, like,
you'll never get anything done.
Yeah, you gotta have your demos out there. You gotta have your fuck ups. You gotta have a place to work shit through.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's what it was. It was just like, we call it mastication, like just chewing on shit until I had something.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had this thing that I liked, and I was like, I like reading this. Mission accomplished. The other shit was annoying as fuck. That one was too long. That one's too short. Goldilocks. This one is just right.
Right.
So I send this bad boy out, right? And I get the best rejection letters on the planet.
Really? For the Liminal People?
No.
Oh, no, not for the Liminal People.
What's this one called that you're sending out?
It's called the Amphictyony. So rule number 1, don't name a book something that people can't pronounce.
I was just about to say the Amphictyony or the Amphictyony.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So, so like, but getting like, hey, this is great. I wish we, publish this kind of thing, but best of luck. I know I'll see it somewhere. This reminds me of Catcher on the Rye, but with, like mystical abilities. This is great. Unfortunately, this is the great best science fiction novel we've ever read. Unfortunately, we only published fantasy. This is the best fantasy novel we've ever read, but we only published science fiction.
Wow.
Fuck, right? One guy was like, yo, hope you don't take this as criticism, but like, this is a very complex plot. Have you thought about writing something simpler? And I was like, motherfucker, all this time and energy and effort into this, like, that you want something simple? You want simple, motherfucker? Ah! Right? And so I was like, all right. And I sat down and I wrote The Liminal People in a month.
Wow.
I was angry. I took a minor character from that novel and I just was like, give him his backstory fully, totally, blah, 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 blah. And that's what The Liminal People was.
And The Liminal People is phenomenal, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
The Liminal People is phenomenal. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
So I wrote that, and I have a really good friend who's published named Nalo Hopkinson. And I sent it to her, and she's like, no, this is good. And I was like, okay. So here's what I know about first novels. That's where you get most of your money if you're going to get it, and for most authors. I mean, just reality on authors. Most authors make under 10 grand a year. Very few live off of their writing. Like, it's just the reality of the situation, right? So not doing it for the money, right? Doing it because I love this, because I want to do this. And maybe one day it'll give me enough to write for the X-Men, which is still my goal. I still want to write for the X-Men.
Okay. Well, let's put that onto the universe. Yo.
I've been like, I got scripts, I got stories, I got ideas. My boy John Jennings has got a Silver Surfer limited series coming out. I'm like, yo, man, put me on. He's like, yo, I got you. He's like, I keep telling him to hire you. I'm like, all right. But anyway, so did that. So I was like, I'm going to do this myself. So I hired my own copy editor, hired my own cover artist, hired my own printers, bought my own ISBN, did the whole freaking thing, had a unique format for it, got it printed. There were typos in it.
Wow. Now let me ask you, how much does that cost? Like in general, all that that's a lot you got to put up on your own, right?
Yeah, exactly. And again, it wasn't my full-time job. So I was working.
This is thousands of dollars.
Yes, this is like 3,500. Like
3,500. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. It's reasonable, right?
But it's still a chunk. And it's still a lot of money if nothing comes of it.
Right.
Exactly. So I thought at the very least it would be my calling card. I would just, right. So I got a few places to pick it up in like local bookstores, but I wasn't getting any broader regional appeal. Talked to my friend Nalo, I sent it to her, and she was like, you should send this to Small Beer Press. We pick it up. So they read it, and the publisher there, Gavin Grant, he was like, yeah, he's like, there's some typos in here. You know that? I'm like, yeah, I know. He's like, well, yeah. He's like, I don't think there needs to be any editorial changes. He's like, but let's clean it up, and let's put it out there. And so my first self-published became my first published, and then he's like, what else do you got? And so, did the Liminal series, and then while I was doing that, John Jennings, the guy who has the Silver Surfer book coming out, me and him collaborated on a graphic novel called Box of Bones, which is like Black History meets Tales from the Crypt.
I was going to say that quote. Yeah. I saw that someone described it. I thought that was a great description.
Yeah.
That was absolute fun. We got some other artists in on it as well that are like just phenomenal and dope. And it was like, it's almost like grad school for comic writing, because it was just like I had to work with so many different artists, and they all wanted like sort of different script styles and whatever, and like I had to do so much different research. And it was like, me and John were like grinders. John always has like 35 different projects going on. I got like 5, but that dude like literally like in that time he started imprint on Abrams Press called Megascope, which focuses on like graphic novels from people of color. So we do Box of Bones. Box of Bones gets optioned by Warner Brothers. They may be doing a TV show on it. We'll see. Hopefully, maybe.
Whoa.
Not. Yeah, we don't know.
No, but hey, just the fact that they bought the option on it, right?
Yeah.
So they're holding on for how long is the option for?
I don't know exactly. It goes through the publisher, but I know that they might be going into developing it. They may not. But
you get a cut of that when they buy that?
Yeah, I get a cut if they option it, and then I get a cut if they develop it. But really, what I want to do is be in the writer's room.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You got to be, because it's your book, right? Who knows the voice of these characters better than you do, right? Even if maybe even on a consulting level, right?
Yeah. It's the thing. Hollywood is just funny. Like I've had my run-ins with Hollywood, and it's like we really like this idea, but we don't want you to touch any other part of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like what they did to Rocky. Speaking of underdogs, Stallone, they didn't want to put him in the movie.
Yeah.
But then with like I was just watching Fleischman's in Trouble, the Fleischman's in Trouble last night. Have you seen that show?
No, I
No.
know.
What is it called again? Say it again. The
Fleischman's in Trouble or Fleischman. I think it's called Fleischman's in Trouble.
Yeah, Fleischman's in Trouble.
okay. Yeah. I don't know.
Novel, script, executive producer, all the same person, right? And it's like
Wow.
when you have a vision of something and you've lived with it for longer than anybody else,
Right.
as long as you can translate that vision to directors and storyboard artists and costume designers and cinematographers, you've got something really special and amazing. So I don't know if that'll happen, but that's kind of my picture.
Wow.
Well,
How
I'll
many
say
box
this.
of bones are there?
So there's one now and there's another one coming out later this year.
Okay.
Okay. I will say this though. The good thing about the option is that after whatever time period, it's been optioned for, you do get the property back.
Yeah.
He'll get the property back, and then he can take it to another studio or another production, not
If
production
they
company,
do,
and then see if we can option it there too, or maybe they buy it outright.
if they make a TV show out of it, your name should be in the credits, right? For created by.
Yeah.
Was that enough to live off of? Not at all, huh?
Nah.
I mean, it's funny. Like my perspectives have shifted a little bit because it's like I know I can make my living in a pretty comfortable way now without that. And
Right,
so
so you don't need them.
Right.
That's where your power comes now.
that's what happened.
Wow.
Look, so somebody tried to buy Liminal People, and then like I looked at the contract, and they wanted the rights in perpetuity.
Oh
and
hell no.
And they wanted the publishing rights in perpetuity.
Oh,
I'm like, you guys don't have a publishing wing. Like, what are you doing? They wanted theme park rights. I was like, there's not going to be a Liminal People theme park. Like, that's not, what is
Theme park?
no, but what they're saying, but what you got to remember is that what they're saying is potential. They're like,
They want it all.
you're saying it's not going to happen, but they're like, but if it does, if there's merch, if it catches on, if it becomes a series, if it becomes they're caricatures, right? They have the Nordine character and they have the Taggart character. Then all of a sudden, that's all ours.
And
right?
you have to give me a lot more cake than that because I don't need that to live.
Can we ask, what did they
Exactly.
offer you?
15 grand.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
fuck
really?
them, dude.
Okay, yeah, damn that.
I mean,
Damn
that's
that.
your creation, man.
Yeah, damn.
That's like giving your baby away at the black market for 15 grand.
Well, see, man, this is interesting. Yeah, that's crazy.
Exactly.
Dang, Ayize and I've been trying to have lunch together, but he's so busy. Right, I'm busy.
Oh, really? Oh,
the second part was I'm busy too. I'm busy too.
Reggie blamed you first. I heard it.
Ayize busy is hopping on planes. My busy is trying to get across a bridge. I'm like, damn, this bridge, right? No, but we haven't talked about this. But there's a project that I'm working that I have with two other guys, and we've been talking. That's how I even know about options and all this kind of stuff. Is that we've been talking about that. We're working with a production company now, and but we'll talk about that later. But I just want to throw that out there because I'm like, yo, I understand what you mean about your creation and someone trying to give you what they think is worth versus the blood, sweat, and tears and energy you put into it and what you think is worth, right?
Yeah.
Especially when they put in perpetuity. I mean, Dave Chappelle just did a whole thing about that with the Chappelle Show, right? And not even being able to, he didn't even own his name.
Nope.
Right? Which is crazy. So
and that's the thing, like, I'm not a lawyer, but I read.
Exactly.
I read,
right.
You know what I mean? So if you put a contract in front of me, I'm gonna read it. And then I'm gonna go to my lawyer and I'm gonna be like, does this say what I think it said? And they're like, yes, that's what it says. And I'm like, so I don't think I should sign that. And my lawyer's like, no, don't ever sign it.
Wow.
Like, good.
And then
such a scammy world.
Exactly.
Right.
So here's the contrast.
Okay.
Here's the contrast. So John Jennings opens this megascope under Abrams, people of color, graphic novels, and he's like, yo, I want you to do The Count of Monte Cristo. He's like, I want you to do The Count of Monte Cristo in outer space. And The Count of Monte Cristo is my favorite book ever. Like, for those of you that have read it, it is the prototype of superhero books. It is like first part of it is like the most badass origin story ever. Totally innocent dude gets scammed by like four people, one of them who he thought was his best friend. He gets thrown into jail to rot for the rest of his life. He meets this like mentor in jail that teaches him freaking everything, makes him like super badass, shows him where there's a bunch of money. Mentor dies. He escapes the prison, renames himself the Count of Monte Cristo, comes back and just throws hands on everybody ever fucked with him, ever. It is like, it's just this tale of revenge that you're like,
I was gonna say it's the ultimate revenge story, right?
You know, like so badass, right? So, and written by man who has like African ancestry. Like Alexander Dumas was like Black. His dad was like this like Black general in Napoleon's army. He like had smoke with Napoleon, like, almost fucked him up a few times. Like fucking amazing, right? Sure. So I was like, cool on Count of Monte Cristo, but fuck outer space. Let's talk about climate change. So, so the book is 299 years in the future off the east coast of Africa, the Count of Monte Cristo, right?
Wow.
So that book is coming out in April. It's absolutely gorgeous. This dude, Tristan Roach from the Caribbean, did the art on it. It looks absolutely amazing. Already, I've got people writing me asking who's representing the property, right? Wow. Like for development. Yeah. And now I'm at the place because, this is my first work for hire book, right? Okay. And I'm just like, I'm transferring you over to the people who run the business side of this, so you can have a conversation. And I know that those guys aren't going to get anywhere with them because Abrams already has lineup for market for TV, movie, whatever. If they want to develop that, they have to get ready. So what I see is that these folks who are out here, who are shooting these random emails out, who are doing these random calls, a lot of them are just trying to like secure their own footing in their own production companies. Right. I had a dude at Morgan Freeman's production company reaching out to me, right? And I was like, yeah, I've got a script for Liminal People. Sent it, never heard from him. What I realize now is that all that is that guy trying to secure his position.
Right.
I have access to this without actually having to pay for it.
Right.
So like, it takes a lot more now for me to be, because like, things will come in and people like, oh, this person's really interested. And my girlfriend's like, oh, aren't you so excited? I'm like, no.
Unless you see through it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Are you ever, people they'll receive, like you said, you sent off the script for it, right? So maybe they decide not to use your script, but then they put out something that's very similar later.
Yeah, they ever steal your shit?
You ever worry about people stealing your property or having your property?
Can't steal what I do. No. I actually think of it in hip hop terms, like when people are like, oh, he bit my rhyme, right? And you're like, dude, that's some like old school make a better rhyme then, right? Or like make shit that's so like branded to you that like whenever they say it sounds stupid, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm Sal, I'm the greatest from the Midwest. It doesn't sound
right.
Y'all can say that,
right?
So it's like Liminal People. Man, it would be real interesting to see somebody try and steal Liminal People.
Right.
I'm fascinated. I'd be like, oh, is that okay?
Well, what if like you have
so that's what you thought about my property? Like that was your version of it. Interesting.
I'll see that. I'll be like, let's go. I got lawyers.
You come up. If you have like a power or something you invent, and then you just steal like bite that. Like, you know what I mean? If you know what I mean, like a character style.
So say like invent a power. That means that in all comics and all novels.
Yeah, that's true. You ain't inventing it either.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But here's where what'll be interesting, right? Like, so let's say like telepathy, right? And it's like you can read people's minds. Well, what does that actually look like? Like, is it like reading a book?
Right.
Is it experiencing somebody else's reality? Is it looking through their eyes? Is it running through memories? What is that? Did you ever see that old movie Scanners?
Yeah, a long time ago, but yeah.
I never saw it. I remember.
Is that the one with Rowdy Piper?
No, that's They Live.
Okay.
Scanners is known for the dude's head exploding.
Oh, right.
If you've ever seen it, right? Like Reggie, you can find it online. Just that scene. They did like, reading people's minds just with the sound, and people doing this.
Oh,
And they're like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Early Cronenberg, and then dude's head explodes, right? Or people have nosebleeds, right?
Right.
How you portray the powers, either in writing or visually or sonically, whatever, that's where the innovation comes in.
Right.
That's where the uniqueness comes in. So that's what I think is far more interesting than like when dudes are flying. Why is everybody flying like that? I never understand. Let me get this straight. Like, you can defy gravity, but you still have to follow aerodynamics. Like,
Yeah, I mean, how come? Well, Magneto just kind of.
Exactly. That's like Magneto. He's like, what? What? I don't need this. The cape is for show. I look fly in a cape. That's it.
What's the Monte Cristo book coming out in April called?
The Last Count of Monte Cristo.
The last.
Oh,
count.
wow.
Wow.
Cool, man.
Dude, this is excellent, bro. Man. All right. And okay. Jeez, I don't even know where to go from here. I'm like,
well, I mean, we've been here for a while, Reg. You can
yeah, I know,
soon,
but it's like,
he's like,
honestly, well, I mean, we obviously we gotta get going, but the thing is that there's so many things that have been said in this, things that we talked about that were just hinted at, that I'm sure we can go so much deeper on. Like, I almost feel like we might have to just bring you back, bro.
Well,
like,
yeah, especially after his book comes out. So, like, when you're traveling a lot, like you were just in New Mexico, is this stuff because you're an author? Like, what do you?
Is this work related, basically?
Yeah, is there a lot of work related travel?
I don't know. Sounds.
I just get right into it, man.
I know. Like,
yo, this Electric Lady Studios, I'm coming in. Electric Lady Land.
Yeah, really. Like, okay. So all this traveling, dude. Where you going and who you seeing?
Yeah. How can I?
It's fine. I'll be doing book tours. So there's a book release at I'll just give you February. So there's a book release at City Lights Books on
SF.
It's on Columbus.
Yeah.
Yeah, North Beach, baby.
North Beach.
Where your buddy Bob Dylan used to hang out. With Ginsberg.
Another Nutberg, which we'll get into later. But yeah, so I got to release the City Lights books. I think it's like the 16th or 15th, whatever that Thursday is, of Valentine's Day. And then the next day, I'm down at UC Riverside at their Writers Week, and I'll be doing presentation there with some other amazing writers. But a lot of my travel these days is around the psychedelic stuff. I'm kind of a bit of an expert on like psychedelia and like culture, and like specifically African-American culture. So I'll be back in LA for the Psychedelics Today conference in March, end of March, beginning of April. I'm going to New York to interview some folks from like the People of Color Psychedelic Collective, and hopefully another big interview beginning of March. In June, I'm going to be at the Multidisciplinary Studies for Psychedelic Science Conference in Denver. And then I'm going to be in Culver City at a comic book store, because April, so that's when Last Count comes out. I'll be in Culver City, and I'll be in Ontario, California, another place, another comic book store, doing press for.
Is this on? Will this be on your website if people want to know where to see you?
Yeah. Where can people
and
find you?
And if you're down, because I'm here in LA, if you're down here, I can come by and do some psychedelics with you or whatever you want.
Say the word, buddy. Say the word.
So do you partake in this stuff? Is that why
see, that's what I was going to ask. That's my next question.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, like, what is, all right, now look, I've seen a couple of videos about LSD, right, back in the day.
Are you still
Whereas Reg with the videos?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've seen, it was on Netflix. I watched a thing about
how to change your mind.
I think that's what it was, right?
Yeah, with the skinny, like dead-looking white dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So I saw that, right? And then I know about mushrooms, right? So I was gonna say,
you know about mushrooms?
I mean, I've heard of them, right?
They exist.
Yeah, I know they exist, right? So my question is, what's the safest? And because I mean, it sounds like there's no addiction in relation to psychedelics, right? Like you can trip, and then there's not necessarily, unless you choose to do it yourself, but there's no necessarily a physical craving that arrives from it, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So what is considered the best and safest way to explore psychedelics?
Depends on what you're after, right? There's some people that are just like, I just want a good time.
And
Right.
what's the definition of a good time? Like just relaxing, at ease, kind of seeing colors, trees talking,
Laughing.
sky moving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Being able to see music, right?
I
See
mean, I
sound.
think that's all like a little much, right?
No,
like
but it's
you don't see God the first day.
some people do, but it's a great question, right?
Okay.
Because there's so many different drugs that are being put in this category of psychedelics right now. And I don't know, as an expert, I don't know why some drugs are in those categories, right? So, for instance, MDMA, right? They're like, that's a psychedelic. Well, it doesn't provide hallucinogens, right? It doesn't provide hallucinations, right?
Okay.
It doesn't give you an altered state of, it doesn't give you like an altered state of consciousness. It kind of makes things warmer and nicer.
Okay.
And allows you to be a little kinder to yourself and others.
Wait, MDMA, isn't that ecstasy? That's ecstasy, right? So,
Yeah.
and what I've heard from people who've done X, basically, like they feel happy and they're like, but they want to touch, right? Like, I guess it's supposed to be like the sex drug, right? It's supposed to enhance all the feelings and
Let's say sensations.
sensations, right?
Sex, right?
Not
Like,
sex,
I mean,
but
yeah,
sensations.
it can be sex, but really it's just like, you're just feeling more, right? You're just
Okay.
more in touch with your emotional state. If you have a negative emotional state, you're gonna be more in touch with that. If you're in a positive emotional state, you're gonna be more in touch with that.
So it'll enhance whatever you're feeling, but it won't necessarily make you happy per se.
Right. Now, every substance has its benefits and its drawbacks. So the thing with MDMA that I always tell people is like, it is a methamphetamine, right? There is a speed aspect to it.
Okay.
And that's just the reality of the situation, but again, with low enough doses and with enough, supervision and some water, you're usually fine.
Okay.
Right. Marijuana is more of a classic hallucinogen. We just take it at such low doses by and large that we don't have the visual hallucinations and stuff like that. But if you get some concentrate, that's going, you can start seeing some shit.
You're seeing the floor as it hits your face.
Very closely. You'd be like, oh, this is the floor. How did that right?
Yeah.
I mean, my angle on it is more the religious aspect of it. And so for like thousands and thousands of years, like longer than Christianity has been around, people have used these compounds to change their perception of themselves, the divine, and the world around them. Right. So I teach a class called The Sacred and the Substance, which looks at the role of psychedelic plants and animals around the world through time. Right. And so what are the ways in which, like, we always forget, like, around, like, I don't know, 900 AD or 900 BC, let's say, the Western world made a decision to go towards logic, right? And logic and order, meaning like things that can be observed equally by everybody at the same time that equals the same thing, right? And that there's a hierarchy to that order, right? But for about 3,000 years before that, the competition to order and logic was mystery, right? That there was it was the unknown that kept us together, that there was a grand mystery that we could tap into, right? Kind of get a sense of, but then we can step out of because we're not ready for that. So we take parts of the mystery and we learn to progress through that. It's not hierarchical. It's more like, spread this way, right? Horizontal.
Right.
But then, patriarchy, the patriarchs, I'm not trying to be like, Mr. Feminist, but like literally like Christian patriarchs, starting like in 300 AD said, no, like fuck the mystery schools, fuck the unknown. There is the known. It is God. There's only one true God. There shall be no other gods before them. And everything will be seen in the light, right? The light is important. Fuck the darkness. Let's go to the light. And that light is hierarchical. And at the top of that hierarchy, right, is the church. Right. So that's the sort of thing that all of our sciences come out of, all of our like entertainment, like everything like started going towards that. But I think with plant medicine, we get to re-experience the mystery. We get to not know and have that be okay. We get to have this like luminous, mysterious darkness that's around us and still feel centered and safe and cool if the right set and setting and everything else is provided for us. So that's kind of like
that's good. That was
now, how often? Let me ask you: do you trip a lot? Do you do this?
I mean, like from 19 to like, let's say from 19 to 30 to actually, man, to when Jay passed.
Okay.
I was like pretty steady, like monthly at least.
Really?
Dude, now
Okay.
what is that? Is it just
That's
shrooms or
that's like
like
30.
a
Okay.
you're taking like a drops? What do you take?
I'm not gonna say that in public. What's wrong with you?
Oh. Well, is it illegal now?
We'd
I
like
thought
to,
shrooms
we'd
was
like to put
legal.
in Exhibit A of
Yeah, exactly.
I
I'm
was
like,
doing
hey, I
heroin
don't
from
know if I know
19.
that. Well, all I know is I done shrooms I done shrooms a couple times, but the first time I really did it with my friend in Muir Woods, it was one of the most fun fucking times of my life, just laughing. You really do end up just like hugging trees, just sitting there being in nature. I love nature. You gotta be in with
ASAP.
nature, I feel.
Tell them how you took off all your clothes and ran around naked too.
I didn't
Right?
do
That
that
was a
shit,
part of
dog. I didn't do that. I just know.
Just the top.
I just remember. I remember
This
it
is
kicked
sad.
in when I took a pee and my piss started glowing. I was like, okay, now we're in a different place.
That was not the mushrooms.
That's
I go to the clinic. Man.
Wow. That's interesting, man. So basically you're saying 09, because we were 35 at that point, because Ayize and I are the same age, 74.
Yep.
Was his passing, did that directly affect why you stopped? Or was it coincidental?
No. I don't know how much you got into how much you've gotten into it, but I'll say that like for me, like Jamoki's passing was like life changing. Like,
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There was a good 6 to 9 months that I just woke up crying.
Mm-hmm.
And like most of that time I went to bed crying too. You know what I mean? I was like, we talk about altered states of consciousness with psychedelics. Like grief can put you in an altered state of consciousness.
Oh, absolutely. I remember, I mean, we won't get too deep into it because we could talk about it some other time, because I think that's really something that's really important too, because that can get into mental health awareness and just processing information and understanding. For me, that was a very difficult time too, but I had a lot going on at that time. And so I found myself, I'm in therapy now, right? Like I started doing therapy probably last summer. And what I've discovered about myself is that I have this ability to compartmentalize, right? And so a lot of times I remember, because it was a Thursday when Jay took his life, I was starting at Rooster Teeth Feathers the next day, like Friday, right? And so I found myself in this position where I was like, okay, and I've heard from other people like, nah, sometimes the best way, you got to get back on. And I've experienced loss throughout my entire life. I was raised by older people. So, my mom got me when she was 56. By the time I'm 10, Black people start dying at 65, 64, 65. Let's just be honest. They don't even get a chance to retire. So death has been a constant in my life, but this one was obviously unlike anything I'd ever experienced before. Right. And so I found myself trying to how do I get on stage and do a thing that I have muscle memory that allows me to just kind of click into the thing and right. And then after the show, I would get in my car, and then from Sunnyvale to Oakland, I would just sit there and I mean, tears would just stream down my face, because it was like I was back into the reality. Right. So I understand exactly what you mean. It was life altering for me. I just said recently, because this was 09, right? I met Jay when I was 20, right? And I always describe it as he took his ball and went home at 35. He was like, all right, guys, that's it, I'm out. That was like a good 15 years of being able to hang out and laugh and joke and then fuss and fight and just run the gamut of a friendship and a relationship.
Right.
And now it's been almost enough time that it's like I realized, I just had an epiphany the other day that I will be around longer than I knew him, right? Which kind of blows my mind, because it just feels weird in a certain way. But yeah, no, I totally understand about it being a life-altering experience, and just opens your eyes in so many different ways. I was just about to say too, and I know it's I can get all sentimental and stuff, and don't play the music, Sal. Not anymore. But the more time I get to spend with you, the more I get to know you, and the more, and knowing him, then I absolutely know and understand why you two were as close as you were. Right. Yeah. Like there's just it's almost hard to put into words, but there's just an openness, and there's a a brotherhood and a kinship and a similar like meeting of the minds, right? Like there's just it's just an dude. The one thing about Jamoki that I'll say is Jamoki was probably one of the most eclectic, and he was an enigma. It was like he was a collection of all things almost, right? Like it could be folk music, it could be classical, it could be like punk, it could be garage, it could be classical, it could be whatever you want. But then it's also like reading this book and reading something that's very right highbrow and intelligent, and then it could be reading some bullshit, but then it could also be reading some conspiratorial shit, right? It could be it ran the gamut. So
I mean, like, there's, I mean, like, yes, and like, it wasn't like that was just his Spotify playlist,
right?
Like, my dude would go, like, he went to like Lucero, this like kind of country, almost like country band Lucero, right? Like, so imagine 6'4", 6'5", 300-pound black dude.
No, you got to go up, Jay, 6'9".
Sorry, my bad, 6'9",
6'9",
300-pound black dude at this like country like Lucero show, and like in the front. Being like, yes, like, and they were like,
yes. You know? Like seriously, he would stick out in certain places like that because he was so different than their typical band or whatever that the band would be like, yo, like they would have to point this dude out, like, yo, like this is our dude, right? Because he had
That's funny.
I have Lucero baseball cap.
I have a Lucero right here.
I'm taking all that I can, and I'm never looking back.
That's funny,
and
man.
Hold on, I'm just gonna tell you right now though. He and I hung out and he was playing this shit, and I was like, I found because I'm very attuned to music in a certain way. Like sometimes I can listen to Bob Marley and it mellows me out so much that I'm like, I feel like I can't do anything, right? Like I feel like I'm on something. But man, he had on that Lucero shit. I was sitting there listening to it with him. It was just kind of playing in the background and we're talking. And all of a sudden I was like I felt sad in a certain way. I felt like it was a moment where I felt like, yeah, man, it's just, she don't love me the way she's supposed to love me. Right? And I'm just like, wait, what the fuck just happened? wait. I'm like, yo, you got to turn this off, man. This shit it's got me feeling stuff that ain't even really real to me, right? Like I'm feeling his pain right now. Right? Like I'm feeling sad for his relationship and but yeah, man.
No, but Sal, I'll just tell you how I met Jamoki the first time, because I know, like, it's just weird, but like, so we had a mutual friend, and my dog had died, right? Not this one, obviously. Had a dog. She died, and I was he's still there, but I was all fucked up, and my friend was like, come over, because like for years people have been like, oh, yeah, when Jamoki was, I was like, who the fuck is Jamoki, man? They're like, you don't know Jamoki? I was like, oh, did you say that, Ayize? I'm like, no, I didn't say that. Oh, Jamoki must have said that. I was like, I don't know this. Like, come on, man. So anyway, I'm fucked up. I'm at home. My friend who lives around the corner, she's like, hey, you should come over, have a thing. I'm like, I'm fucked up. She's like, I know, just come over. Come over, and Jamoki's there. He's like, yo. I was like, hey. He's like, you're Ayize. I'm like, yeah. He's like, man, I keep hearing about you. I'm like, I keep hearing about you too. He's like, cool. How you doing? I'm like, I'm fucked up. He's like, what's up? I'm like, my dog just died. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I had a dog too. I really missed that dog. And it was wild. So, you need anything? I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna be sad like a motherfucker. He's like, okay. He's like, look, later on, let's just link up. Give me a number. I was like, cool. The next day, right? I didn't pick up the phone. I wasn't picking up the phone at all. So he leaves a message. It's Jamoki Hayward Horton. How you doing? Down here on this block. I'm looking at these females. They know what they doing. They know I'm watching. You watching? I'm watching. I don't know, man. They know I'm watching. I'm watching them watch me. Anyway, I'm here down the block. You want to come down, watch these females? Let me know. I'm going to go to movies later. You want to go to movies? Let me know. I'm going to get some food later. Want to get some food? Let me know. You don't want to let me know? That's okay too. I'm going to call you later. Peace. That was it.
Wow.
That dude did that for 4 days. Finally, I was like, fine. Like, what?
Yeah.
And like, once we started hanging out, like, we didn't stop.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like two peas in a pod. Like, yeah, it was, man, thank you for that. That right there. Because I used to get those messages, right? I
The messages were legendary. Like,
Dude,
you would
the
be like,
messages
what
were
is
legendary.
happening right now?
Like there was a point, like after he passed, I had an immediate moment of like, damn, I wish I had all those messages. I wish I say, because I would get messages like, yo, driving around the lake. Yo, why? What is it? Driving around the lake. And how come big dudes, you ever notice big dudes be standing on one foot and then switch weight to the other foot? They never stand on both feet at the same time. It's like they shift the weight and then they shift back over. All right, man, hit me up. And then out. It was just, but there were these classic, phenomenal messages, man. So yeah, man, I love this. Like, I know we're doing this on the thing right now, but it's just, and we'll link up because these stories are real and they just have so much value and they connect everything, man.
They bring you back.
Brother. They bring you back. But yeah, I'm like sitting here for this time right now and talking to you and listening to you and hearing your story and where you're from and what you've experienced and how you process and create and see. Dude, I'm like, yo, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. So all right, man, we just gotta do it again. The books are coming out soon and we'll come back.
Yeah, let me know when you're in LA and shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I'll be down the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. I'll be down for that week.
Okay.
Where do you live?
I'm in Los Feliz.
Oh,
East
cool.
Hollywood.
My dad's right over there.
Oh, for real? Tupac's dad? No. Sorry.
Okay.
That's such a crazy story, man. I still can't believe it.
Sal is the consummate comedian. I'm telling you right now. He will take whatever it is and he'll just,
Hey, Mr. Shakur.
He's like, hey, Ayize stepdaddy, Tupac real daddy. Like,
exactly.
It's the opposite side. He's like, no, I know. It's for comedic effect.
Okay. Reggie, we got to talk at some point. Like, I didn't know you gave up comedy until that dinner. And
well, okay. I will say this. I don't want to say I gave up comedy.
So comedy beat you. And
comedy beat me?
Yeah, is that what happened?
I finally succumbed. I couldn't comedy.
You couldn't do it no more.
Nah,
I'm done comedy. I'm done.
We could talk about it, but it's a combination of things. I've thought about it a lot. I think a part of it ultimately is that when I made the decision not to move to either LA or New York to pursue it on another level, I kind of got to a point in the Bay where I felt like I had really accomplished almost as much as that I wanted to do. Now, people could have, you could take it a step further, like, well, you could have done a one-man show and then that could have been a thing, or maybe you could have created a thing or produced a thing or whatever. But comedically, as far as like getting into the clubs, all the clubs, the corporate gigs, the private gigs, doing the big shows, opening for whatever big name, working the Fillmore, working at the Masonic, opening before people tapings, you know what I mean? Like I kind of ran the gamut, but I also think creatively, I kind of hit a ceiling in the sense of like, I figured out how to do it and do it well and do it successfully, that I got complacent. I got comfortable. I stopped pushing myself in a certain way. Right. And I realized that the places that I was the most creative, the places where I was the most innovative, the places where I was the most excited about what I was doing was when I was outside the Bay. Like when I got to other cities and I was in other towns and I was on the road, it was like when I was able to just focus on comedy, dude, the writing would just come to me naturally. So I felt like I was kind of stagnant in this place where I kind of lost the same creative juices, right? Like the wheel wasn't spinning the same. Yeah,
just in terms of like creativity, because I think that's what this podcast is about. I don't know right now, but
we don't even know.
We know it's about creativity and expression of that. So okay. I
think like people become their most creative. I would say like when your throat's in the neck of the lion.
Yep.
Amen.
You step,
like, when you're hungry, like when it's like when you have nothing to rely on, you get mad creative hella quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But people always say that, they say, man, you become real funny when your belt loops start touching.
Exactly.
Right?
I always joke with Reggie. He's like Rocky 3, where Mickey takes Rock aside when he wants to fight Clubber. He goes, Rock, the worst thing happened to you that can happen to any fighter. You got civilized.
Well, you know what, though, too? I'll say this, and now it's going to turn into the Reggie podcast, but being around comedians, man, I love comics. I love comics. I love the energy, but I also realize that I'm not the same as them in a lot of ways.
Never have been.
Never have been, right?
Never have been.
No,
Like,
I'm
it
similar in
was
some.
like everybody was drinking. Everybody was like talking about people's mamas. Reggie's like, "Hey, everybody, how you doing?" Like the nicest, coolest. Like audience loved him. Audience was all
very likable.
Comedians were pissed. They were like, "Why is Reggie? How come Reggie ain't talking about all his trauma on stage?"
Exactly.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we talked about this.
We talked about that.
Yeah, I was in Europe, and and I was like, I loved it. Because it was like, stop it. Because there was like, I mean, I'm a therapist too, right? And like so many comedians I see, I'm like, no, boo boo, just therapy. It's okay.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
as an audience member for comedy, I'm the best because I'm giving nothing but support. I'm like, it's okay. You're gonna be all right. You keep going. Oh, come on. Yeah, I have faith. I'm sorry that happened to you, but I like the joke that you made about it. Like,
yes,
that's funny.
So Ayize,
like, I'm good.
Well, exactly. But see, this is the thing. On stage, I'm like, yeah, this because that's what I chose to express and talk about.
Right.
But I also felt the exact same way that you felt. Like I would be around comics. I'm sitting there talking to them and I'm listening to them. And I'm like, yo, man, I know you're making fun of this, but that's traumatic, bro. That's sad, right? Like that's painful. So so it's hard for me to make fun of things when I know that they come from a deep pain. I'm like, I get that this is how you're coping and this is how you learn how to cope, but that doesn't work for me. And so for the pain that I have or that I've experienced or whatever it is, my pain is always right under the surface. I can't fully access it in a comedic sense. That's why whenever I talk about something that's serious, it immediately goes serious because that's what it is for me, right? Like I'm not far enough away that I want to make fun of it. And then when I am far enough away from it, then there's nothing funny about it, right? So I have to, my comedy is always like, look, man, everybody's traumatized in some way. Everyone's hurting. Everyone's in pain. I'm like, yo, let's just have a good time, right? Like we can talk about some of the crazy stuff that's happened and what's happening and what we've experienced. But honestly, I'm not mad at the dude who was looking at me crazy. I'm just like, yo, why? Like we're both, one of my jokes was, I stop on the 101 to look out at the view. And I'm like, I look over, there's a guy parked in his car with his windows down. I look at him, I look at the view, and I'm like, dude, we're having a moment, right? Like this is amazing. And then he lets his car door up, right? And I'm like, really? Like, I'm like, dude, are you serious right now? Like that's your issue. Like we're looking at the sunset on the Pacific Ocean. We got waves crashing, we got rocks, and you're thinking about me being black?
Black guy.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, yo, no, this is what it was. I'm sorry. He had the window down, right? He had the window down. I look over, we have a moment, and then he locks the car door, right? And so I look over and I go, yo, the window's still down. And the way I used to do the joke was I was like, the window's still down. I can still get you, right? But even in that moment, it's not even necessarily about like how dumb and stupid that is as much as it's just about like it's more about that. Like
Ready freeze?
Not that it injures me, but like really, like your fear of my skin color is more than the view that we're looking at. You know what I mean? So I think when the pandemic, prior to everything shutting down, I had already 2020. I woke up, bro. Before 2019, phenomenal year, one of the best years I had in comedy. Nice. Like it literally was almost like I had won the championship. I played the whole season undefeated, won the championship, and then woke up 2020 like, all right, so what am I gonna do now? So I had already decided that I was gonna throw out all my material and start over, right? And then everything shut down. And during the shutdown, I kept checking in with myself. I was like, yo, where's that push, that desire to be on stage? Like, where's that thing, that craving? But what I realized during the pandemic, the thing that I craved and what I was loving was not working, being at home, me and Theo going to every regional park, going hiking, flying our kites. I got a bike, I got a scooter, like just start moving in a different way. I was like, yo, I don't know if I need to do comedy, right?
Well, you said something. Way. You said something at that dinner, and I just caught a glimpse of it, and I was like, "Damn!" You were like, "I don't think every punchline needs to be funny," and I was like, "Ah."
Right.
Yes. Do you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
because there are these, I mean, I look to comedians, the comedians that I like, and I'm like a Bill Hicks kind of dude. You know what I mean? Like, I like those cats that are like, what audience? I'm sitting here talking about my life.
Well, when you mentioned Jimi Hendrix not getting the love that he felt like he deserved from Black Americans, it made me think about Jimi Hendrix. I mean, think about Bill Hicks, because in Europe they love Hicks.
Yeah.
And then here he was struggling to find an audience that really understood and got him. But I'm sorry,
truth tellers always do, right? But the thing with them is like, yeah, it was the truth. It's just the truth, right? And it's like the truth, if it's really the truth and it was done in such a way, it's always going to make you laugh a little bit, but it's going to make you think a lot more.
Right.
Bill Hicks has this joke where he was like, I mean, it's a beautiful setup in combo, because he says, how come more people who look like Buddha talk about, like, love Jesus? Like, you look like Buddha, but you got a Bubba belt buckle, but it should say Buddha, because but they're claiming they're Christians, right? So it's like the simple thing. And then he's like, yeah, I did that joke in Fife, Alabama, and these guys came up to me and they said, hey, we're Christians and we don't like that joke. Right. And I said, okay, well then forgive me.
Yes, that's it.
And it was just like,
that's it.
And it's like, right. And it's like, yeah, it's funny, but also like, dang, like there is a truth in that.
There's a truth to that, right?
Like,
remember, even before that, he said they came up to him and they were pushing him. They were like, get over here. Get over here. Right? Get over here.
Come here.
Yeah, come here. Come here. Pushing him away.
And it's like,
suffering awaits anyone who questions God.
And I love that about Hicks. I like comedically, I love those moments, right? Because those are true moments.
Those are the comedians that I love, right? Like set up punchline. It's like cute. It's cool. And it's like, yeah, it's playing to an audience and I get it, right? But like, and maybe like I am not the one for like modern comedy, which is fine, right? But like the George Carlins, right? Like the Bill Hicks, the like, even a lot of like the earlier women comics who were just like I love Joan Rivers. Because like Joan Rivers was like talking about what it meant to be a woman at the time, and like, just going over the top with that shit. Right. Like that's the shit to me that like, that's why I feel like comedy is should be a protected art, right? You don't have a lot of stand-up comedians in France. You don't have a lot of stand-up comedians in it's an American thing that is rooted in this freedom of expression, right? And it's almost like the court jester, right? The role of the court jester is to tell the truth to the king that nobody else wants to tell. Everybody's afraid.
Right.
You have to protect that court jester, because if the king, if the moral police, if the whomever can't take that joke and they want to slaughter the jester, well, then you're in trouble. Granted, I think there's some things that come up with comedians where it's like, just because you're sexist and racist and homophobic doesn't mean you're funny, right?
Right.
But like,
yeah, no, that's right.
So there is a responsibility that I think it goes in that art. But for those who play that role, I fucking love them. Like
Well, I will say this, man, and then we'll officially wrap it up. But I've said that if I were to go back, right? If I go back to the stage, and I still write, I still go to shows, I still love it. I love being around it, love being in the atmosphere. But I was like, if I go back, I feel like I need to go back differently, right? Because I'm not the same person, right? And so I have to figure out how to go back and be more authentic to myself, and maybe even be a little bit more well-rounded. Now, there are some parts, and Sal and I talk about this all the time, but there are some parts of me, I'm just not going to give up. Like there's some parts of me that are mine. I'm more vulnerable now than I've ever been in my life in a certain way with therapy, which has been phenomenal for me in a lot of ways. Like I feel like it's made me a better father. I feel like it's made me a better person. It's made me.
Oh, go on, dude. This is interesting.
No, you see what I mean? This is what I mean. Like the authentic comedian, right? Like even in the real moment, it's like, let's keep it going. But no, that's it for me. It's like, okay, if I do go back, I can't go back the same. I go back differently, and then what is that difference, and what does it look like, right? And I think for me personally, if I do go back in that way, it'll be funny, but it won't be the same type of funny. It'll be a different type of funny, right? But yeah, I still, obviously I got this with Sal, and I love it. It's a creative outlet. It allows me some space to be comical and to be silly, but also to be be serious, right, and to be heartfelt, right? Like it kind of runs the gamut. And comedy, stand-up comedy, is very limited in that way because ultimately it's supposed to end in a punchline.
I'm gonna say something that you're gonna Sal, get ready, cue up the music.
All right, here we go.
I could see you writing a Hallmark romance. Like I could see you doing some kind of like touching, celebrity romance in Alabama. They're gonna make his way in the Bay Area. Cool woman, but he's just too much into the comedy, and she's too much into being real. But then he goes and visits her while she's feeding soup kitchen, and he realizes he used to eat in the soup kitchen too. That's what he's running from. They do it together. Look, just let me write it. Just let me write it, man.
Dude, hey, honestly, I told you there was an idea that I have that I want to collaborate with you on, and it's a bit sci-fi because I think that's where I feel like you really could bring it there. But I have a whole template, like I have a whole idea of what it is. I just need the person to help me like get it from here to here. Now, and I'll say this too, and this last, Sal has always been that person for me in comedy. There have been so many opportunities that I've gotten in comedy that I can directly attribute to Sal being like, yo, you going to the thing? Okay. I'm like, he's like, there's a thing happening tomorrow morning. You should go to the thing. And I go, he's like, Rich, just go. And then I go, and then I'm like, it happens, right? I'm selected. I'm a part. Another time.
Are you on stage? Are you doing stand-up?
Yeah, I'll be actually in San Francisco first week of April. I should have you come. I'll put you on the list. Come to the Punchline. You could give me you could look at me as a therapist and help help me out.
instead of tags after the show.
Yeah, you go, this is what you need to do, bro.
Right. Like, well, first you have to address this anger issue with your dad. Let's start there. With the anger and the dad. Let's go there first. So.
Let me know if you're going up in LA when I'm down there in February, because I'd love to see you.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'll let you know when I'm up north too.
Dude, I'm excited. I'm so amped, bro. You got me amped right now. I'm serious. I want to write a book with you. I'm so sincere when I say this. I'm putting it out here right now on the podcast for the world, for our guests to see. I want to write a book with Ayize, right? I just want to. That's what it is. And yeah, man.
Ayize is like, well, why do I need you to write a book?
Well, no, because it's my idea. We got to collaborate. He's already written these books. He's got stuff happening.
He's like, I got ideas.
I'm like, I got many, many ideas. But I'm always happy to help. I'm collaboration, man.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Let's get, because the other thing that I'm working on, well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that off air. But man, all right. So I'm gonna have to get going because I gotta get a thing too. But yo, man, thank you so much for taking this time.
Is this useful? I feel like I was just talking shit.
Dude, this is perfect.
Good. We might have to do a two-parter here.
Yeah, honestly, I'm thinking I was gonna talk to Sal about that. I'm like, I think we should make this a two-parter, right? We should start.
That's fine.
Yeah, and then we say part one and then come back for part two, because that first half with Jimmy and
we're in a whole world. That was great.
Yo, exactly.
Don't mention Jimmy to me unless you want to go.
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And then we get to the books, and then and then there's the first half is just Jimmy and Tupac, right? Like that. right? And then we come to the books, and then self-publishing. Dude, come on, man. And then growing, and then we hit Jay. Dude, like, it's beautiful, bro. This is what I'm talking about. Like, this runs the gamut of, it's not just one thing. Spitballin is not just one thing. We're a collection of all things.
We're a creative podcast.
We're what?
Creative.
We're a creative podcast. We provide a space for you to be funny, but also to be heartfelt and to be sincere and serious. We allow you to be angry and mad. That's what we do here at Spitballin. We provide a safe space for you to be you.
I gotta Shazam this music.
So hey man, but thank you so much for taking the time. And I'll be in touch. You and I'll hook up soon, but I want to we're gonna bring you back after the books come out, and we can talk about that too.
Cool. Come to the book release.
I will. So that Thursday is the 16th.
Yep.
Thursday, February 16th, City Lights Books. I'll be in the city anyway. I work that day, so I'll just come over after work.
When you're in LA, is there the book release is the comic book, but that's not till later, right?
No. The book release is the last of the Liminal People.
Okay. Yeah, I'll find you. You're on the Instagram. We'll message you on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what's your handle on Instagram and everywhere else?
Ayize Jama-Everett.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Ayize, Thank you, my brother. Oh, and also I forgot we covered Kaju Kimbo too. Oh my goodness, dude.
We covered it all, baby.
Dude.
It started.
Yes. Thank you so much, man, for taking the time today.
Midget porn, man. I'll tell you that.
Little people porn too. I can't say, I can't say it. I gotta say little people. Hey,
you can't say it.
I can't say it, but I'll let you say it. But we ain't gonna get into it because there's a whole thing on Instagram. My buddy found a
I got interested all of a sudden.
Yeah, I was like, wait, Ayize's in little people porn? What are you working on next?
Hold on. Hey, no. Ayize, this is what happened. You throw out midget porn, we both go, wait, what'd you say? Midget?
Wait, what happened?
What happened?
You doing what now? What's this documentary? They're tripping on acid in a room and then you make them fight. That don't sound right.
That's wrong. That's wrong. Why'd they do that?
Oh man. All right, man. Well, thank you, man. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Nice meeting you.
Yes. Thank you so much. All right. I'll catch you later. Peace.
All right, Reg. There it is.
Yeah, man.
Man, you knew that he was ready to roll when once you said peace, it was out.
He was gone.
Yeah, that was a longer, but that's good. We got some good stuff. We could do 2 parts. We're at 2 hours.
Yeah, I think 2 parts would be great. It'd be 2 parts would be great.
Cool, man.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot for people to sit through the whole thing, but because I think both parts are equally.
They're very different too.
They're very different, right? And so, so yeah, we'll do our first 2 parter. This would be awesome.
All right, there it is. Yeah. Well, wrap us up, Reg.
All
Thanks for listening, for everybody. If you made it to the end here,
yeah, really.
You.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the podcast today and our guests. I want to give a special shout out to Ayize Jama-Everett, therapist, writer, and black belt martial artist, and very funny guy, right?
Big Jimi Hendrix fan and
Hendrix fan, and
related to
got his documentary coming. He's got several books out. So shout out to him. Props for him for coming in and taking the time with us today. We really appreciate it. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and share. We love it. We're gonna keep doing it, and we hope that you keep showing up. So please, yeah, we'll see you next time. That's Sal Kalani. I'm Reggie Steele.
Peace.
And this is Spitballin'.